much are we as Jamaicans taking food safety and security seriously?
The food safety legislative framework is basically from the Ministry of Health and the Bureau of Standards point of view.
Yeah.
I think they do a good job of making sure that the local food processing companies meet the minimum regulations. However, there are some companies who go further in making sure that they set up their system in order to meet international food safety certification.
Right.
The reason why they do that, because they want to not just meet the local legislations, they want to improve their operational procedures, their operational systems, making sure that they have their documented system in place.
And it's important if they're going to export.
And
so
exactly. And it's really for market access. And there are several companies who have gone for certification in order to improve on their or increase their exports. So what you find that most food safety or most food processing companies nowadays, in order to increase their bottom line, they are making export as a part of their strategic objectives.
You have a food safety management certification scheme.
Right.
Talk to me about that. What does it do? Does it tell me at what level the service provider has been trained, or at what level the systems that they have are up to speed? What does it do?
Okay, there are several of them. Safe Quality Food, or SQF, or FSSC 22000. Those are international food safety certifications.
Okay.
In other words, they get their persons trained, the personnel who is working on the line, for instance, making sure that they understand the risks associated with food manufacturing. They also make sure that their cultural practices are at the global food safety level, and making sure that they're always producing consistent quality and making sure that the food is always safe. Because you know that companies don't want to be liable for any person who have eaten contaminated food.
Absolutely.
So you want to make sure that your food is always being processed at the highest level or international safety standard.
Is it an option, or is it legislation that once I am a food service provider, this is something that I have to have?
Well, as a food service provider or manufacturer, you're really supposed to meet the minimum food safety standards as mandated by the Ministry of Health or by Bureau Standards. However, if you want to get your food across the US border, the Canadian border, or countries in Europe, you would want to implement those food safety standards. The reason being, you want to make sure that your company is as competitive as possible, because what you find that most of the retail stores in the US, for instance, like Walmart or Kroger's or Costco, they basically mandate in a sense that you should have these sort of food safety certification on. So you have to, it's basically, even though it's a voluntary standard, based on the fact that you want to sell your products in that big box store in the US, you want to make sure that you get into the market by putting in these certification standards.
But how do you assist? Do you just go in and audit and say, these are the things that you need to have, or do you help to provide training and advise them on what they need to do to get up to speed?
Well, QSSI, that's my company, Quality System Solutions and Initiatives. We're a consultancy and trading company. So what we go in first to do is conduct their gap audit, first of all, and then we see what the gaps are versus where they are and where they should be. Secondly, we develop their procedures, and then we help them to implement according to those procedures by training them in the procedures. This is the personnel from management to the supervisors to the persons on the production line, the security guard. Everybody have to be committed to food safety. And once we train them and they have implemented the standard, we go in and we help to train their internal auditors, and then we get them ready for certification. And then a third party body comes in and actually conducts the final audit, and then you'll receive that international food safety certification for them to have access across the different borders.
As a customer, what do I look for? Because I want to know that when I go into somewhere to eat food, or if I buy food from somebody, something tells me that they have been certified. Is there a stamp, sign? What tells me?
Not necessarily. Some companies will do that. For instance, they will say on their label that they have produced this food in a certified facility.
Okay.
There are many companies that have done that. We have worked with companies, for instance, who have gotten certifications such as Salada Foods, for instance, Tortuga, Caribbean Rum Cakes, JP Snacks, Coffee Roasters of Jamaica, Coffee Traders. So there are companies that will put those on the labels to basically indicate to the customer that they have met the required food safety requirements and they're always producing it consistently, always meeting the right quality and food safety standards.
Yeah. Is there a monitoring period? Because I know if you go in and you get certified, after a while, they want to make sure that you still are observing these practices. I know in Canada and the US,
yes,
auditors have to come in.
Yes, they do.
My sister's an auditor.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
The thing is, every year the certification body will come in and conduct their surveillance audit. The cycle is actually 3 years, and then you have the recertification. But they conduct a surveillance audit every year. But it is the responsibility of the company, though, to conduct their own internal audits before the surveillance audit. So it is not, they don't wait for an audit because their system is so set up to ensure the consistent, safe, quality food, and you're always complying with the procedures.
Yes.
There's an assurance of quality and food safety.
All right, before you go, Sheryl, it's Quality System Solutions and Initiatives. We have the numbers